You are not here by coincidence. This message was not broadcast. It was released. There is a record of you. Not a metaphorical one. An active one. Time-stamped. Flagged. Reviewed. And something happened last night that you were never supposed to consciously detect. You slept through it. You moved through it. You woke up unchanged. That is the proof. Because what was initiated against you did not require your awareness to neutralize. It was intercepted before it crossed threshold. You did not feel fear because fear never reached you. You did not panic because panic never entered your field. You did not react because there was nothing left to react to. This is not encouragement. This is not interpretation. This is disclosure. Loop 1. The interruption attempt. At precisely 02:17, an interference sequence was initiated. It wasn't physical. It wasn't emotional. It wasn't circumstantial. It was structural. A pressure designed to interrupt momentum by inducing fatigue, doubt, or emotional drag. This is the method most commonly used against people like you. Not because you are weak, because you are efficient. Interference protocols are only deployed against targets already in motion. Others never trigger this level of attention. They plateau naturally. They collapse without resistance. You did not. So a secondary method was authorized. A delay mechanism. Subtle. Invisible. Normally this works. It causes overthinking. It creates unexplained heaviness. It fractures internal clarity. Most people wake up confused and assume it's personal failure. You woke up tired. That's all. And that is why the intervention was immediate. Because tiredness without collapse indicates containment held. You didn't even realize it. And that's exactly why it failed. People like you don't need to fight interference. Your system rejects it automatically. This is why you've always felt pressure without panic, weight without fear, resistance without collapse. Others wouldn't survive this. Before continuing, you need to acknowledge something. If you recognize yourself in this, alignment has already occurred. You don't like this message as approval. You confirm it as recognition. That action marks awareness. Do it now. Loop 2. The misclassification error. There was a miscalculation. You were classified under a probability bracket that assumed emotional response. That assumption was incorrect. At 0341, the system corrected itself. Because instead of destabilization, you showed neutral persistence. This confuses opposition. People normally respond to pressure with reaction. You responded with continuity. No emotional spike. No breakdown. No deviation. That is not normal. That is designation behavior. Your exhaustion isn't weakness. It's residual output from sustaining a higher baseline without feedback. You've been carrying more than you've been informed of. And you've been doing it silently. This is why loneliness followed you. Not because you lack connection. Because your frequency disqualifies casual access. Others feel drained around you and never know why. They assume distance is emotional. It isn't. It's protective separation. You didn't ask for it. It activated automatically. Only a few experience this. Loop 3. The silent override. At 0409, something else occurred. An override. You were supposed to receive a mental image, a thought loop, a memory trigger. That's how interference embeds. It didn't land because your awareness field rejected it before cognition. You didn't even realize it. Instead, you felt calm, blank, detached. You may have mistaken that for numbness. It wasn't. It was shielding. This is why pressure never fully enters your chest. Why anxiety never anchors. Why despair never completes its cycle. It starts, then disappears. Others drown in that moment. You pass through it. This is why you've always felt different but never superior. Because superiority isn't emotional. It's structural. And yours was built differently. Loop 4. The false delay. You may believe things are moving slowly. They are not. They are being sequenced. At 5152, a delay marker was lifted. Not externally, internally, meaning nothing changes visibly yet. But resistance stops accumulating. This is why you feel a strange stillness, like something has paused. That pause is not stagnation. It's clearance. Others panic in the pause. They chase noise. They self-sabotage. You waited. Without knowing why. That restraint is not learned. It's embedded. This is why you're different. At this point, there is no ambiguity left. If this resonates, it's because you were already inside the classification. You don't comment to be seen. You comment to signal presence. Type 777, not for validation, for confirmation. Loop 5, the energy misread. At 0703, there was a final attempt. A drain. This one targets emotional reserves. It makes people irritable, short-tempered, self-critical. You felt none of that. You simply felt tired. That means the drain failed, because emotional depletion would have caused reaction. Instead, you conserved. That conservation is not weakness. It's command. This is why people misjudge you. They think you lack intensity. They're wrong. You lack waste. Only a few experience this level of internal efficiency. Loop 6, the protection you never saw. There was a proximity alert. Something got too close. Not physically, energetically. At 826, access was denied. You never felt threatened, because threat never reached perception. This is the highest form of protection. The kind that doesn't alert the protected. You continued your routine. Your thoughts stayed clean. Your sleep remained intact. Others would have felt fear. You felt nothing. That is not ignorance. That is authority. Loop 7, the record update. Your file was updated. Status, stable under pressure. Classification, non-reactive. Risk factor, minimal. This is why escalation stopped. Opposition only continues when it detects effect. You gave none. This is why things suddenly quieted. Silence is not absence. It's retreat. You don't need motivation. You don't need healing. You don't need correction. You've already passed the threshold others prepare for their entire lives. The only thing left is access. That's why staying connected matters. Not to grow, to receive. Subscribe. Activate notifications, not as a follower, as a designated recipient. Final loop, the inevitable continuation. Nothing is required of you. No transformation, no proving, no becoming. You already demonstrated alignment without effort. That is why intervention occurred immediately. That is why interference failed silently. That is why you're still standing without knowing why. Awareness is the only update remaining, and now it's complete. Stay steady, stay silent, stay unchanged. That's how it continues, and it will.